shooting star.
The night has fallen. Bluey and Bandit settle down for a quiet evening on the veranda after a long day of play. Bluey gazes up at the twinkling stars, and suddenly she points an excited finger towards the sky.
A brilliant, swift streak of light, a shooting star, flies across the dark night sky. Both dad and daughter watch it pass.
Bluey turns to look at her dad, her eyes wide with surprise and a little bit of wonder.
Bandit gently pulls Bluey into a warm hug.
Bluey closes her eyes, keeping her silent wish completely private. She opens them, giving a look of pure contentment. Bandit tightens his hug, savoring the special moment.
Building a small wooden house. A cool, gentle morning. Dad carries the wood out and places it on the ground. Mom lays out the measuring tape, carefully measuring each piece. Sister uses a pencil to mark the lines. Little brother hugs a handful of nails, running back and forth excitedly. Dad joins two wooden boards to make the frame. The little house tilts slightly. The family stands back to look. Mom points and gently shakes her head. They take it apart and adjust it. Dad hammers in the nails. Thud, thud. Sister holds the board straight. Little brother hands over the hammer. The wrong way. The small wooden house stands firmly. The roof provides just enough cover with a cute low door. The whole family fits perfectly inside the tiny house. They look at one another and smile warmly. After many days of use, the family car also needs some maintenance. Bluey and Bingo wanted to help Bandit with this. Taking care of things is a way of showing concern. Bandit showed us how to check the important parts. Working together made everything easier. The car looks completely different now. Taking care of things is a way of showing concern.
Whoa!
A small thing, but it brings joy to the whole family. A peaceful afternoon is perfect for a light, active game. Playing ball gently provides exercise while remaining safe. Sometimes, adjusting the force is necessary for a smooth game. Knowing when to stop helps avoid unwanted situations.
Oh.
Playing slowly allows for better control during each turn.
Okay.
Coordination makes the game more enjoyable. You don't need to play hard to have fun. Knowing when to stop helps avoid unwanted situations. Taking breaks at the right time keeps the body comfortable. Woo-hoo-hoo! Playing sports lives is more meaningful when you know how to control and care for each other.
The Talented Magician. Welcome to the Magnificent Magic Show by Magician Bluey. The audience is very anxious. Oh, a ball is flying out.
Wow!
Meanwhile, backstage, Bingo's assistant was preparing for the biggest performance yet.
Huh? Yeah!
Dad Bandit is ready. Can Bluey turn the empty hat into a miracle? A behind-the-scenes story is unfolding behind the hat. Ta-da! Not a rabbit, but a bingo. Dad seemed very surprised by the performance. He went closer to see if the bingo was real. Surprisingly, this performance was very convincing to the father. What a fantastic performance! Thank you to the audience for watching. See you at the next show.
That old wall has been there for a long time. It's time to refresh the house. Starts aren't always perfect. Just slow down a little. The difference starts to show. Just one color of paint is enough to change the whole room. The house suddenly feels fresher. Great joy comes from small changes. The secret painting. A large sheet of drawing paper is spread out on the floor. Paints, brushes, and crayons are placed around it. Mom, Dad, sister, and little brother look at one another. Dad gestures a rectangle in the air. We draw together. Dad sits down at one corner of the paper. Using a brush, he paints a simple house. Lines a bit rough but solid. Mom chooses soft colors. She paints flowers, trees, and the sky. Each stroke slow and gentle. Sister picks bright colors. She draws smiling people, arms and legs a little long, full of lively expression. Little brother sits right down on the floor. With crayons, he draws a big sun, coloring outside the lines, smudging a bit. The family steps back a few steps, seeing the whole painting for the first time. The house is off-center from the sun. The trees are bigger than the people. Colors don't match, lines overlap. They look at one another and burst out laughing. Forgot the kid. Morning at home. Mom grabs her keys and bag, checks the clock, running late. She gestures to the kid. School time. Mom walks out the door, carrying the child's backpack. Inside, the kid is still putting on shoes. The door closes. The kid looks up, frozen in place. The kid walks to the window and watches Mom's car drive away. He scratches his head, then shrugs and sits on the couch, calmly playing with a toy. Outside the school, Mom parks the car and turns to the back seat. Empty. Mom freezes. Mom looks at the backpack, looks at the empty seat, looks at her phone. Eyes widen. Panic. She quickly turns the car around. Mom rushes inside and swings the door open. The kid is on the couch, happily eating a snack/playing. They stare at each other for a second. Mom exhales in relief and hugs the kid tightly. The kid pats Mom's back like, "It's okay." Mom carries the kid outside, then double checks the back seat before closing the door. The simple fishing rod. Quiet. Lakeside/riverside. Dad arrives with a fancy fishing rod, tackle box, and folding chair. Son stands beside him, empty-handed, watching curiously. Dad casts the line confidently. The float sits on the water, perfectly still. Dad waits, checks his watch, sighs softly. The son looks around, finds a tree branch, ties a simple string to it, adds a tiny hook, drops it into the water, just for fun. Dad doesn't notice. The string suddenly tugs hard. The son's eyes widen. He pulls up the branch. A fish! The son freezes for a moment, then grins proudly. Dad turns around, looks at the fish, looks at his expensive fishing rod, looks at the stick. Dad bursts out laughing, shaking his head in disbelief. Dad pats the son's head proudly. They sit side by side, watching the water together. The fish swims calmly in a small bucket. A familiar courtyard suddenly becomes a bustling marketplace. A mini market begins from imagination. And then the first customer appears. When you're too excited, things can get chaotic. When you know how to wait and share, every game becomes wonderful.
Aha!
When everyone does their part, the market becomes orderly. A small market, but full of laughter.
Huh?
When you know how to cooperate, everyone is happy. Sharing is what makes the market more meaningful. When you know how to wait and share, every game becomes wonderful. The fish tank mistake. A fish tank sits neatly on a table. The fish swim happily. Dad sprinkles fish food carefully, nodding with satisfaction. Dad feeds the fish. Fish swim up excitedly. The kids press their faces to the glass, pointing. One day, Dad is busy. Mom picks up a white container that looks like fish food. Mom pours it into the tank. The water turns cloudy. Mom looks at the container again. Salt. Mom's eyes widen. The whole family springs into action. Dad gently moves the fish into a temporary bowl. Mom drains the tank. The kids carry buckets of water very seriously. Music speeds up slightly. Fresh water is poured in. The filter turns on. The fish are carefully returned to the tank. Everyone leans in, holding their breath. The fish start swimming again, happy and lively. The kids jump with joy. Dad exhales in relief. Mom smiles awkwardly and pats her chest. After the first harvest, the whole family had a new idea. Vegetables from the little garden are ready to go into the kitchen. Preparing to cook is also a fun part. It doesn't need to be perfect, Just try. Cooking always has unexpected moments. Homegrown vegetables have a very special taste. Meals taste better when they are made together. From the little garden to a happy meal. Faces of emotion. Chili sits on the floor with Bluey and Bingo, holding a small, magical hand mirror. Chili looks into the mirror and then makes a very sad face, with her ears drooping slightly. Bluey and Bingo observe closely, and then they both imitate that sad expression in the most adorable way. Suddenly, Chili changes. She flashes a big, bright smile at her daughters. Immediately, the sisters grin back, mimicking their mom's spreading happiness. Chili looks into the mirror and then makes a very sad face, with her ears drooping slightly. Everyone bursts out laughing happily and shares a big, warm hug on the rug. What a fun lesson about feelings! Early to bed. Mom raises a finger and gestures. Early bedtime tonight? Dad and the kids nod seriously. The clock flips to 9 p.m. Everyone is still in the living room. The child sleeps peacefully. Dad sits upright, wide awake. Mom checks the clock, then sits back down. The clock reads 10 p.m. Dad has turned on the TV and is fully engaged. Mom sits beside him, scrolling on her phone. The child continues sleeping soundly. The clock shows 11 p.m. Dad changes TV channels. Mom smiles at her phone screen. The child shifts position slightly, still asleep. Mom looks up at the clock. Eyes widen. She looks at Dad. Dad looks back, sheepish. They both glance at the couch. The kid has been asleep forever.